I'm Fleur Osterjack with you until 10 tonight. With the majority of people having to stay home at the moment, it means we'll be watching more TV, watching more films and listening to the radio or any podcasts. And if you're looking for feel-good films at the moment, we've got just the thing. James Luxford is a passionate film journalist and critic. I managed to chat with him this week to ask what sort of feel-good films we can watch to distract ourselves and forget everything for an hour or so.
We are in the right time in history for that sort of need. We are now at the point where there are more streamers and more movies available at the touch of a button than ever before. So really, the whole of movie history is available if you've got a good Wi-Fi connection and a remote control. So I would start with the early 2000s film Amelie. Starring Audrey Tautou as a young waitress living in a colourful, imaginative world who decides to make the lives of those around her happier. And I just love this movie. It's about positivity. It's about finding happiness wherever that may be.
Yeah. And do you know what? I actually haven't seen that film, so that's something that I can watch when I get home. It's something at this time of life and what we're dealing with in the world, I find that we're going to films that we've already watched before. Mm-hmm. I know some people want to watch something maybe a bit more interesting, something a bit more new, but for me, I'd be going to home comforts such as Harry Potter, Legally Blonde, stuff like that. Maybe Scooby-Doo.
Absolutely.
I mean, those are great ones.
There is a reason that, in the birth of Netflix and things like that, the things that tend to do pretty well are things like Friends, are things like The Big Bang Theory, are things like Frasier or Seinfeld, because they're familiar, because they're comforting, because entertainment is supposed to do that. I mean, it can challenge the way we look at the world, it can make us think, it can make us cry, but one of the most popular uses for it is to comfort us and provide us escape. That screen in the corner of your room or in your hand can take you to a galaxy far, far away or to a place that's a little less complicated than the world we live in now. Okay,
so Amelie's one of them. What are your other kind of fail-safe, feel-good films?
I think you can't go wrong with The Princess Bride, the 80s comedy fantasy surrounding Peter Falk, who you may remember as TV's Columbo, playing a grandfather, reading a story to his ill grandchild. And the story sort of becomes this great sweeping tale of a knight played by Carrie Elwes out to battle an evil king to find his true love, and there's blood feuds, but it's this sort of precursor to Shrek in that it's a bit tongue-in-cheek.
I was going to say, that reminds me of Shrek. Also a good film to watch during a time like this when, you've got self-isolation, you may be working from home, and in the evening, everyone who's working from home will have to kind of find a way to distance themselves from work and then go, okay, well, I'm already home. Like, there isn't a journey from, work to home in your car where you can digest everything that's happened in the day. You are literally still at home. James, you've been working from home for quite a long time now, and you are freelancing too. How do you cope with working from home, as in stopping your work for the day? That might be at 5 p.m, that might be at 4 p.m, whenever. How do you what do you do to make you feel like you're at home relaxing?
It's not a fail-safe system. I do have I've been working from home for 10 years. I started in my little studio flat in London, and then I moved to Oxford, and now I'm in the Midlands. And every time, the same rules, I think, have always applied in terms of no matter the size of the space you're working in, where you work should be separate from where you relax. So if you've got your laptop on the sofa where you watch your television, that's going to be harder to disengage than if you, say, put it in the kitchen or put it on a table nearby and just have that physical separation of, right, I'm going to close the laptop and move away from that. That is my workspace. This is my relaxing space. That, for me, has always been important in terms of disconnecting. Also, the mobile connection, which I know is a difficulty for people who are, whether they work in an office or work from home, not looking at your emails, not checking work-related things on your phone. Have a very clear line where you say, I'm done for the day. and now I'm relaxing.
More recommendations to make you feel good after this. I've been hearing my chat with James Luxford, who's a film journalist and critic. I got in touch with him because I figured whilst we're at home more, we might as well resort to taking breaks from the news and taking an hour or so to watch something that will make us feel good, or it's just a real home comfort. He suggested a film that I really like, La La Land.
It's just a gorgeous... It harks back to kind of 50s musicals, An American in Paris, Singing in the Rain, things like that. It follows Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, who are a couple who fall in love as they chase their dream. And it's full of, as you say, colourful scenes, beautiful dancing moments, songs. I think it's very uplifting. There's a couple of tears in there, but I think it's a reaffirmation of, I guess, who we are, who we all want to be, people with dreams, people with ambition, people who look up at the stars and dream of things that are ahead.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing to kind of watch at this time. And I really like about that film is the jazz music that they have, because jazz music is one of my favourite genres, and I like every time I listen to it, I feel like I've got a whiskey in hand and I'm watching live music in a bar. And that's very La La Land, isn't it? It's escapism. It's really enjoyable. And then one that will always make my friends feel a lot happier, especially because they're massive ABBA fans, is Mamma Mia. You're a big fan, James?
I am. I think I like this as an escapism. I'm a little fonder of the sequel, Here We Go Again, because it adds Cher, and everything is better with a little bit of Cher.
Yes.
And it's wonderful. The first film is about Amanda Seyfried. She's getting married. She doesn't know who her father is, but she has 3 suspects: Colin Firth, Pierce Brosnan, and Stellan Skarsgård. And she invites them all to this island retreat for the wedding. And it's a comedy. It's, as you would imagine, all of the ABBA songs. Hilarious singing from Pierce Brosnan, it has to be said. But it's just fun, it's light. If you want to forget your troubles, I think either of the Mamma Mia films are great.
And also, the songs are very musical. Obviously, it is a musical, and people go to musicals to feel uplifted, happy, cheerful. There's something about that breaking out into a song mid-scene that makes you just... I don't know, it's a really weird feeling, but it makes you feel like you can do anything.
Absolutely, and I think it harks back to what we talked about in earlier about the familiar. All of these songs are songs we all know and songs we can join in with, and it's what made the ABBA films, the Mamma Mia films, a hit when they were in cinemas, and that's what I think will make them a hit at home when you've got the whole family around.
Yeah, and James, when you watch a film, what's your sustenance? Do you go for a blanket, pillow, what snacks?
I'm fond of it. Yeah, I'm fond of a blanket. I've got a little projector at home, so we've got it's kind of a homemade theatre experience. I do like popcorn, I have to say. I know it's a cliche, but I go for popcorn.
Kernels everywhere on your sofa, James, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm more of a chocolate gal, more of an ice cream person. But yeah, I think these are great films that we can watch. It's a time to just obviously self-isolate. Don't go out unless you absolutely have to. And staying at home does have its advantages when it comes to watching films and feeling good, feeling better about yourself. It's all about self-care at the moment. That's what I think anyway. James, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.